I'm Jim Reagan. I worked for NASA for 36 and a half years. My first assignment was to come up with a watch that NASA could certify so the astronauts would have a watch they could use on the surface. The requirement was any piece of hardware that went on the vehicle had to be qualified. We had 4 brands that submitted the watches. One I ruled out because it wasn't a capable wrist-worn watch like we specified, so we actually tested 3. There was 10 different environments that we had to test. It had to pass all 10. If it failed one, it automatically failed the watch. Actually, 2 of the watches got eliminated in the first test, which was a thermal vacuum test. Omega was the only one that passed all the testing. Even I was surprised that I could get any watch through those kind of environments, because the environments were really made for pieces of hardware you mounted on the vehicle and that type stuff. The most extreme test you could do to a piece of hardware. The watch was always a backup, but if you lost the capability of either talking to the ground or having the digital timers they had, or the digital timers when they went out on the lunar surface, the only thing they had to know how long they had been there was the Omega watch that they had on. And so I was highly critical of making sure that it was done right. I probably serviced the watches more than they ever needed to be serviced. And where it paid dividends is Apollo 13. I gave the astronauts the Omega and the other 2 as well to test to see if it met their requirements. And in the end, not knowing what my testing was, they chose the Omega. We were really happy. It made it easy to get certified to fly on NASA. Omega has an extremely good name with NASA. They've been the single contractor that's supplied hardware since the Gemini days through the shuttle and the space station days, is still flying a qualified Omega watch.
We sometimes forget, in light of everything that happened, that the primary objectives of the Apollo 13 mission were to explore the Falmara Highlands, to gather geological specimens, and to enhance our knowledge of the lunar landscape. But as we all know, other lessons were learned, lessons that would make every future spaceflight safer. Beyond the Earth's atmosphere, the crew settled into a series of routine tasks and system checks as they coasted peacefully through space.
We think we ought to conclude it from here now. Apollo 13, everybody there.
On the 13th of April, right after the crew had conducted a live TV broadcast, disaster struck. The explosion on the service module irrevocably changed the course of this mission. To conserve power, the crew had to shut down all of the ship's systems. They now faced freezing temperatures, depleting oxygen, and carbon dioxide poisoning.
The angle of entry into the atmosphere is a very small angle, only about 2 degrees, and so it has to be controlled very closely.
Failure was not an option. The astronauts had to rely on their Speedmaster chronographs to time the mid-course engine burns that ensured their safe re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. It worked perfectly, and the capsule splashed down on target in the South Pacific Ocean. The mission was dubbed a successful failure. It demonstrated what could be achieved through teamwork and ingenuity. For its role in enhancing the probability of mission success and flight safety of the Apollo missions, Omega was presented the coveted Silver Snoopy Award in October of 1970. To the astronauts and to all of us, Snoopy's slogan reminds us of the importance of believing in our goals, our dreams, and above all, in ourselves.